Dear feminine, dear hearts, now we journey into the shadow of your ancestors. We journey here not to condemn them, but to gain a new compassionate awareness of the heaviness that resided within them. They did not have the emotional and mental freedom that you have today to look within. They could not face all the dark demons they had accumulated and removed them. They did not have the tools that you have, dear hearts. They needed to remain stoic and strong in order to survive. They did not have the luxury that you enjoy to explore your inner worlds and to change. You can do this for them. You can change who you are by consciousness, healing, and by choosing another path. But their stories were more rigid. They were fixed in time, space. They did not know themselves deeply, nor were they in touch with the depths of their pain. The way they survived was by going numb. They erected a shield of numbing to close off feeling and sensitivity. They had to, dear ones. They simply had to. They lost so much of their inner feeling and sensitivity to life force. They had to protect themselves from the harshness of life and the limitations of their reality that crushed the heart and weakened the spirit into hopelessness and despair. But you can help them, and you can help yourself to become free from this inherited heaviness. First, we journey into the collective psyche of the wounded feminine, for she had to swallow her own emotions and her words and her thoughts, and they remained as unexpressed, undigested remnants within her. The feminine could not express her anger and rage, and the limitations of her being and the demand for her submissiveness grew into a toxic sludge of repressed hatred and rage within her. Feel your mother's rage, whether expressed abusively or more likely unexpressed and held in a locked down compression of energy she was not allowed to access. Feel your mother's rage. Reach back now further and feel your grandmother's rage. Was it hidden or active? It was there either way. No being can be suppressed to the extent the feminine has been and not develop the toxic seed of anger in their bowels. As an infant in the womb, you absorbed everything from your mother's emotional and mental states and transferred this information into your own nervous system. This state informed you as to how you would handle stress. And your acute sensitivity was like a sponge, re-imprinting the program that your mother and her mother and on took on as the body translated negative emotion. For most women, it was not acceptable or safe to express any opinions or thoughts let alone rage and discontent? What is present as you revisit your journey into your mother's womb? Feel her energetic presence today. Feel her inner pain and disappointment. Feel her feelings towards the masculine. You read all of this and scanned it into your own data bank of information about life. Can you feel how it still lives in your own cells as information? Can you feel how you have attracted masculine energy that is similar to what your mother attracted because you vibrate still with this level of information? It became a part of you as it became a part of your mother and her mother before her, generation to generation, learning the program of survival and of emotional and mental suppression, swallowing what could not be expressed into the body to calcify and grow rancid. Truth was not available in these realities. The truth was buried, ignored, or hidden away, forgotten about as if it was not floating in the room like a black cloud of horror. What secrets of pain did your mother keep inside of her? What secrets did she carry from her mother? How does this secret live inside of you still today, unspoken, but present in silent agitation? And now you move your attention to the imprint you received from your father. How did your father withhold from your mother? Withholding love, affection, attention, pleasure, respect, honor, money, or power. Even if your father was not present, your mother's awareness of his energy lived inside her as you were in the womb. And how did that same pattern begin to appear in your own interactions as an unconscious expectation around the masculine energy? What was not present that your mother longed for and desired in her heart but could not have? And what was present in her world that was hurtful, frightening, or demoralizing? And how did this begin to show up in your interaction with the masculine as well? How did it repeat? Did it begin to repeat in your reality in some way? Were you aware of this? What beliefs were formed about how the masculine and feminine work together or do not work together? Are they in harmony or are they enemies? What did the masculine have to offer your mother? What did the masculine have to offer your grandmother? And what did the masculine have to offer you as a young child? Was it protective and attentive and loving, or something else? How did you internalize this expectation about what the masculine was from this experience as a child and from what you picked up from your mother? And what was your father's rage, and how did he express it? Was it actively expressed, or was it passive-aggressive and unspoken? Feel into your father's energy field and his fathers before him and on, energetically, as you trace the lineage thread of emotional avoidance or abusive explosiveness, of anger, rage, and hatred, or of abandonment. How your parents handled these emotions is how you hold them now too. Are the masculine and feminine energies against one another, or are they united in loving union? What did you learn from your parents about this? Do they trust one another, or is there no trust present? Is that mistrust still alive in you? Was one parent missing, abandoning the union altogether? What do you believe today about how the masculine will meet you or not meet you? What are the expectations you picked up in the energy field around you as a child that are not even yours? What stories of your ancestors are you holding inside of you? And playing out with the masculine energy as it arrives in your life to repeat the patterns? How does it keep you separate and apart? How does it create a barrier to love forming or a barrier to trust? Can you feel your parents' patterning inside of you? Can you feel how you have acted out your mother's anger and rage? Can you feel how you have acted out your father's anger and rage? How do you lash out openly to the masculine with your anger? Or do you only feel it inside and keep it unexpressed as a seething poison inside yourself? And who taught you that? Was it your mother or your father? Do you allow yourself to acknowledge your inner rage and hatred? Or are you in denial about it? Was your mother in denial? Was your father in denial? Did you make a promise you would never be like them? And now are you overacting in the opposite direction to keep this promise and remain in control? Did you say once you would never let a man control you like your mother was controlled? And have you kept the masculine away from this fear? Or did you become your controlling, over-dominating mother? These negative emotions are often too intense to let out and are held in a compression of life force within the body. But in the density of the old earth energy of pain and suffering and cycling trauma, they could not help but explode from time to time. They would erupt and then be quickly covered over and forgotten as if they never happened and never existed. Where does your deep rage and hatred get triggered? In the presence of a masculine. Have you found it yet? What do you unconsciously believe the masculine is doing to you or not doing to you, is doing for you, or is taking away from you or withholding from you? How does he disappoint your fantasy of how the masculine should show up? And how angry are you about that? How do you condemn him for it? Is your condemnation open and aggressive, or passive as a form of shutting him out for revenge as you withdraw? Do you see your mother and father and grandparents in your own story? Is it a repeating story of generational trauma and rage? Now look past the pretty masks of everyone in the past acting normal. Look deeper, divine daughter. The charade of life as bottled up normalcy is the third dimension. Was anger explosive and terrifying in your home, or suppressed and not allowed to be acknowledged? What happy story did you write over your childhood about how things actually were in your family? Did you play out and pretend the surface story in your family and home? Look more carefully into your stories, for these are the stories of your parents and your grandparents. This is how we are, they might have said. This is how life is. What did they teach you about what life is? Did they teach you that life was a struggle? And have you adopted that life philosophy without realizing it? That life is supposed to be difficult and painful, and to expect this? Did you adopt their stories? Did you adopt their facades of normalcy and avoidance? Did you adopt their expectations of limitation and struggle? Were your parents openly hostile and violent? This was the norm at certain times in the third dimensional reality. Was physical abuse present? Was this act of anger and hostility made normal, as necessary, as discipline, as love even? What was present within your mother and father around the expression of violence, rage, and anger? Did they have hatred for others outside of the group or family or culture? Did they express judgment and prejudice? Were they carrying stories of victimhood, downtroddenness, or were they elitist and exclusionary to others? Feel more deeply into the darkness of your ancestral stories. What vibrational frequencies are you still holding that you never realized you were carrying with you? How have you become your mother's shadow? How in your lifetime did you begin to express her contempt or rage or disappointment? Do you complain and bemoan your fate? Do you play the helpless victim too? And how have you become your father's shadow? What stories do you continue to keep alive about the injustice of life and the unworthiness of others, about money and status, and how the world operates? What disrespect have you carried towards others from your paternal line? Was your masculine lineage abusive, dominant, and overbearing? Or was it weak and disempowered, holding no masculine power? Were the men responsible, upright citizens? Or were they rebellious or even degenerates with abuse and anger? Or were they obedient and fearful conformists? Where did this energy come from in your grandparents' story? Where did it come from in your parents' story? How far back can you reach energetically to retrieve this thread? Open to travel in time, to find more understanding of the familial threads of life. Where do you carry the stories of disempowered rage from your paternal lineage? Where do you carry the stories of domination from your paternal lineage? Where do you carry the stories of disempowered hatred towards the masculine from the maternal line? There is so much information coming forward, beloveds. You don't need to capture it all right now. Just let it flow in and let the awareness flow in. Dea no era nana era da doya ya naya he astoroko ya nana ya hai no era na stela kaya naya no ya hai no ya na ke la stela ya na ko ya naya Ay, 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 ay. Hinala do esta na nakaduk ola na ya kaya na no ya shakala kanatuk oya. And now you unravel the threads and cut the cords of ancestral anger and rage. You unwind the toxicity of hatred and disempowerment. You turn on the lights of avoidance and repression, and you open your own eyes to see how you have carried these things that are not yours entirely. Now look into your own Akashic record. How karmically did you come to arrive in your ancestral lineage? What inner forces led you to embody into this particular lineage? Hishayana nunuela naya kaloya haya hinaya lalatoya naya haya no shena lalakoya naya lalahoe. What have you carried in your energy body over and over again as you traveled through time-space in your human experience? How has anger, rage, and hatred been oriented into your soul? How do you carry these negative emotions and thought patterns now? Are they conscious? Or do you need to go down a few levels in your awareness to dig them out? They are there. They are there, dear one, because in all humans who have walked this earth, they are there. And you are calling them to rise if they have not already. You are calling them into consciousness, into your awareness, into the light, so they can be seen and felt and released. Feel the pain of your ancient anger and hatred. Where has your soul acted out in violence and rage? Towards the masculine, towards the feminine, towards others. For you have been all of it, dear soul. What parts of your wounded, self-righteous feminine are angry with your own inner being? Do you remember when you were a masculine that was abusive that way? When you harmed others in dominance and abuse, enslaved others, took their lives and freedom and energy away from them. You have been everything, dear soul. Can you raise your perspective high enough to see the cycle of hatred and violence and release and forgive yourself for your experiences? You were the only one judging you, beloved. Can you forgive your ancestors for bringing this energy back to you again in the karmic loop? Can you lift yourself up very high to see the pain anew and begin to have eyes of compassion for all of it? Your own and others' pain, your mother's hatred, your father's anger and rage, and your grandparents. Breathe deeply as you face any repression of anger and hatred, and allow yourself to acknowledge its existence. Can you open, my dears, to let it have a place within you? Can you accept it as part of you as well? Can you forgive that part of you? Can you allow it to just breathe? Can you allow it all to just breathe? In and out. Allow it to simply be. Let it be present. Let the uncomfortable feeling flow through you without contracting or reacting or judging. Simply letting it be present and move through you. Estalakoya Naya. He another doya haya. Letting it rise and fall like your breath. Shoo. Letting it go. Letting it go. Exhaling it out of your being. Letting go of your mother's rage and pain and hatred towards the masculine. Letting go of your father's rage and pain towards the feminine. Letting go of your own. Breathing in freedom. Feel a sense of release and expansion. Breathing in a sense of possibility for what you have become, what you can become. When these old stories are unwoven and let go of. Just let go. Just let go, beloved. Find compassion. Find forgiveness. Feel your heart rise past the old stories. And become free. The sixth seal is lifted. Be free, Ashaka. Be free, Ashaka. Be free, Ashaka. I am the great Sophia, always the Mashata Takolak.